There was a question on Libre forums recently that I thought was deliciously interesting and wanted to delve into. Here I have a part that might be able to demonstrate that question pretty well. We have some ribs. Let's say I want to take a section view and get a cross section of these ribs. Well, for that, I'll jump into the drawing environment and talk about what that question was about. So we're going to say send to, make drawing, and send it on. From here, we'll get rid of the right view, and we'll say OK. Now, maybe I can adjust this so I can see my ribs. We'll say visible and hidden lines so I can see that rib sitting back there. I'll right click and activate a sketch in my view and create a line. Now I'll grab a midpoint constraint. We'll say that this line's midpoint should sit right in the center of our view. And since this is allowed to rotate, I'll grab a parallel and make this line parallel to the rib. From here, I can grab a section view, and of course it asks me which way do I want my section view to go. I'll select this one, and we're inserting a view that's about 45 degrees off horizontal. This is per, I believe, ANSI Y14.3, which talks about what the orientation of your section view should be and things like that. So we have some users that are saying, well, I want to rotate this view 45 degrees because I want it to just have a more intuitive orientation. And that's a fair request. I'm not aware that it meets any drafting standards, but sometimes you just need to draw something outside of drafting standards. And we have questions regardless, so I want to provide answers. So I'm not going to claim that anything I talk about here is going to be consistent with any kind of drafting standard, but if you have a need to rotate a section view like this, let's talk about some ways to do so. And actually, the ways to do so are in this section line. So one option that I have is I can add a little vertical. Now there's some things that we need to be aware of. First off, when I go to create my section view, I'm going to click on this vertical here, and now I have one that is oriented in the vertical fashion. You'll also notice that there is some scaling going on, or at least some appearance of scaling. This is actually still in scale, but it's much smaller because we've cut this at 45 degrees, but we're looking at it in the direction of this arrow right here, and so we're looking at a tilted away from us at 45 degrees kind of version that appears smaller, and the dimensions aren't going to be accurate. They're going to be as if we measured it, if we've measured the 45 degree angle from this vertical view. So this is probably not as useful. And the other thing is, if I create a section view and I click on my diagonal, well, that actually is the right size, and we're looking at it right and everything, but we're back to the 45 degrees. So how we can actually get this is we would say align section view, and just like that, now we're inputting one at the right size. Now that we've inserted this, we're going to see a few things. One, it's not aligned, right? If I start moving this, we can see that it's not aligned with the previous view, but this is kind of to be expected because we've added this vertical place of where we're also looking. So we have the entire length here, which if we stopped right there, we would be aligned, but now we have this extra view, so it pushes the view down a little bit. Now we can always uncheck align and be able to move our view so that we can be aligned. We can even add some helper sketches that help us align and delete them later if we'd like to be really, really well aligned. But as you can tell, we do have a dimensionally accurate version cutaway, and we can see the holes here and here. We can also see these internal holes. And if I have any questions, I can always add some dimensions to our drawing here, and I might have to click into our drawing. We're going to dimension here. Just like that, we've got a diameter of 7.954. We'll come over here and we'll give this a diameter in 7.954, so we are quite exact from our parent and child views. A few other nuances that we should be looking at. Notice that this vertical line has the arrow looking away from the model. What might happen if the arrow's pointed the other way? Because now part of the model would be intersecting the view of this vertical line. So I set this up deliberately so that this line would be looking away. If I delete my view and I create another aligned section in the other direction, why now I have this little extra piece. And of course this extra piece is what this vertical line sees looking toward the model. So if I want to go that other way, I should add the vertical on this bottom side instead of this top side to accommodate that. So there are some nuances to doing this and some things to keep in mind, but we certainly are able to get this done and get an aligned section view that provides us with a desired orientation. Of course, I can go in and I can make another sketch here, and I can add in a line like this, and noting that the arrow will be pointed this way so that this horizontal line is looking away from the model. We can add in another line section view that gives us the horizontal direction. So this is a way that we are able to get the orientation that we want to and still have the right scales and sizes and everything without too much hassle. So hopefully this is helpful. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the Libre channel, and I'll see you in the next one.